Okay, listen very carefully. This is a little bit of a complicated principle to understand how much you can spend on a car. Open your bank account. How much is in there? Now, subtract, that means minus from that your emergency fund, how much you need to have in there and this month's expenses. That's how much you can spend on a car.
That's really
That's it.
About as complicated as this needs to be. If you don't have enough cash on hand to buy a car,
don't buy it. Don't go buy it. You can't afford it.
I love this. Okay, so this isn't a car, right? This is the same philosophy, the same mentality though, that most people watching this video have either have or have experienced at some point in their lives, right? My wife and I went to one of those vacation places where you have to listen to the take the tour, right? It's a sales presentation, and we went into this thing, and the whole time, well, first of all, we told the lady, we're not buying. We know that we're obligated to sit here for 45 minutes, but we're not buying. So say what you want to say. And the lady berated us for a long time and was super mean and awful, and that's a different experience. Maybe we'll talk about it in another video. But the mentality was, one, don't you and don't your kids deserve this? I'm like, well, no, they don't.
Let me look at my bank account and see what I deserve.
My kids have done absolutely nothing to deserve for me to own a timeshare. They don't deserve it.
They play
deserve
Nintendo.
it.
They don't care.
And it was like, could I afford to buy this timeshare? Even back then, the answer was, yes, actually, I could have bought it, but it would have used up like all of my personal savings. And I had other priorities, which is another factor, I guess, that goes into your car, right? Do you have other things you're saving for? But other than that, like that mentality of, I deserve this, right? And then the next question is, well, how big of a payment can you afford?
Oh my
and
gosh.
so, and it's like, okay, so my monthly cash flow, I have this much coming in. How much of my margin can I afford to spend on a car? And that is where the car dealerships get you, right? It's like, let's look at the monthly payment. Yes, it's stretched out over 7 years, but let's look at the monthly payment here. Can you afford this in your current budget? Well, yeah, until my kid breaks his arm or until we get hit with a global pandemic, right? You can't afford it unless you have cash for it.
That is going to be unpopular. Look at the dislikes on this video, right? There are dislikes because there are people like, I can't afford my car payment and you can't tell me I can't have it. I'm sorry, that's just how the world works if you don't have enough money. This channel is about winning with money. We don't want you to be average or normal in any way.
Yeah.
We want you to be way ahead of everybody else financially. And you cannot get there if you crush your margin. That's why we named the channel Margin. It's all about how much money you bring in and how much goes out each month. That delta right there, that's your margin. And it's beautiful. We protect that at all cost. Debt is an enemy, but it's not the enemy. The enemy is where you just are living on this paper thin margin every month or backwards, right? And so if you accept a car payment, you're hitting the most valuable asset you have, which is your monthly margin, and you're just soaking it up. This whole channel is about growing that margin so that you can actually live a life and be safe with your family, right? So do not ever accept a car payment. Now, let's talk about how to make that realistic, because some people say, but I just don't have enough. I need a reliable car to get to. I don't want to deal with an unreliable car. Man, I have been there. And I know how stressful it is.
You know all about unreliable
cars.
cars.
About this. Some of the most stressful days of my entire life are when our family's car went out and I was in college and we did not have enough money to get another car. There just weren't enough zeros in there to make any car happen. That was a really scary time for us. And the only way you get through is by fighting, not by quitting and just taking a car payment.
By whining, right? By whining that, oh man, the government, the rich, the whoever has made my life impossible because my car broke down and everything is combined against me to make it so that I can't afford to get ahead in life. If you have that mentality, you will not get ahead in life, but it will be nobody's fault but yours.
Liquidate, baby.
Yes.
Go through that garage. The skis are gone. Sorry, kids, the Xbox is gone. We have to drive somewhere. I've got to get to work. How awesome would it be for your kids?
And
if you gave them that opportunity to just say,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we can't afford it, and I need you guys to help to sacrifice for the family too after you already sacrificed,
Yes.
right? Like, that's good. Hello, you're not helping your family when you crush the margin and add stress and everything to your family. Go liquidate and go buy $1,000 car, and yep, it's gonna have problems. And yeah, you might need to ask for a ride to work sometimes. And yeah, it's gonna be stressful. But yes, it's gonna protect the margin and it's gonna help you to eventually win.
Here's the beautiful thing about like cars at that $1,000 to $2,000 mark. They don't really depreciate any further. If you have a car that runs, you can usually take it to a dealership. My brother used to work at a car dealership, and he said, I'm authorized to offer $1,000 for anything that runs, right? So if you have a car that runs, you'll be able to sell it for $1,000. So if you bought it for $1,000, you could sell it a month from now for $1,000 if you've saved up more and can go buy a car. The other thing you can do is buy it for $1,000 and flip it. Maybe make $1,200 off of it, just because the person you're selling it to wasn't watching this channel, right?
Yeah.
And learning how to get a good deal on their car. You can buy a fairly reliable car. We just bought a minivan, right? And we had one before. We're ready to get rid of. This minivan runs great. It has like 140,000 miles on it, but we've replaced the carburetor. The catalytic converter, which is a big problem on those cars. We've had brand new tires on it. It's in good shape, and I'm probably not going to get more than about $2,000 for it. For $2,000, you can have my minivan that works great and has driven across the country multiple times and doesn't break down. You can buy a pretty reliable car for $2,000. So, garage sale, liquidation. Number 2, side hustle, baby.
Yes, go
Get
watch
your
our
butt
video.
in gear. I'm not talking about delivering pizza. That is a bad side hustle.
That's a stupid side hustle.
Go make $7 an hour delivering pizza. If that, don't do that.
Yeah,
Okay?
go watch our video on the 7 side hustles that can actually earn you significant money this year, and get it. But for those of you who are still on the thumbs down, first of all, I understand we're not that cool. But the second thing is, if you just fundamentally disagree and you say, no, but some people need a car payment, as soon as you're driving a worse car than his 2003 Chevy Suburban and he's a multimillionaire, then you can start whining.
Okay, let me tell you about that car. It cost me $4,500. It is a full-size 2003 Suburban. It's got a couple 100,000 miles on it. It runs great. You know, I just put new tires on it. It's probably going to last me another 200,000 miles if I want it to. You know, yeah, as soon as you're driving a worse car than me, I don't know.
With that
car.
kind of income.
Oh, I know,
yes.
seriously. This feels so weird for me to say this, but I'm officially a 1%er. Mm-hmm. And that's what I drive. If you think you need more than that, you are fooling yourself.
Or you've let the marketing fool you.
Yeah.
I mean, can we just return to some obvious values in money that you can't afford things that you don't have enough money for?
Wait, whoa.
If you don't
If
have
I
enough
don't
money,
have the money,
you can't afford it, and you just say no. And so,
Amazing.
lest this seem really insensitive, you should know that we have been where you're walking.
Yeah.
I promise I've been where you're walking.
We both grew up. You should have seen what we drove in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Where
I was in college and law school the whole time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's stressful and it sucks. But we can either sit here and we can tell you it's okay, go buy your Highlander for $25,000, you deserve it. You deserve a nice working $25,000 Camry. You probably don't. None of us deserve anything. We work for what we get in life, and it sucks to be there. But we want you to get ahead, and so we're willing to say something that might hurt that will actually help you to win.